What is up, my people? Just a guy on my lunch break is back. It is Wednesday. Short week this week, so that's good. Didn't start back work until Tuesday, so told my wife last night. The good news is we're already halfway through the week already. As you know, after you're off for a little while, going back to work is always a little bit of a challenge. It's like, oh, now I gotta go be an adult again. Damn it. This adulting shit sucks. It's not all bad. I should do better about claiming that adulthood completely sucks, because I have a 17-year-old son who graduates from high school in June. The family, especially my dad, has tried their best to convince him, to go to college. Because, my dad's old school, My dad comes from the era, back when my dad was growing up in the 50s, 60s, that was the thing to do, and the government was even pushing. And you can actually go back and see the campaigns that our government was actually pushing to try to sell our universities and to sell our colleges. And, that's another way for the government to make money. The government does this, right? That's another way to make money, having people spend $100,000 on an education. Well, how much you think is the government making on that in taxes and whatnot, right? Through the student loans and all this other stuff, the grants that the government does as well, that they're getting paid back high interest on and stuff like that. So the government has a piece, and it's a concern for them how much of the population is actually utilizing our college system. So back when my dad was coming up, he's 80 years old, back when he was coming up, this is during the time where they were pushing, get out there and get yourself a college education, make yourself more marketable in the workforce, right? But this was also before internet. This was before online jobs. This is before YouTube, social media, cryptocurrency, all these other ways that these people are finding to explore ways of making money now that have nothing to do with a college degree, right? And I've also known people that don't have one speck of college. And I have a college degree. I have a 4-year degree. And I would say that it's definitely helped me kind of get my foot in the door with various companies, simply because they look at it and like, oh, this guy, he's an educated guy, that obviously took, a lot of consistency and determination on his part, but plus he must be at least a halfway intelligent guy to get a college degree. So I think putting that with myself, my job performance, my job history, that sort of thing, I would definitely say that being able to flash that college diploma definitely helped me to get a job. But my job that I work now has absolutely this much to do with my college degree, right? My college degree is in education of young children at that. And so my college education really has very little to do with what I actually do now, other than maybe some of the platforms that I learned as I was going through college, some of the what do you call them? Some of the computer programs and stuff like that I worked on maybe played a part in it. Some of my typing skills, some having to write umpteen million papers and then making sure that I, stayed on top of my grammar and all the correct spelling and the way everything flowed, in professional paper, essay format and stuff. I would say stuff like that helped me to now be able to, formulate well thought out, grammatically correct emails, and to speak correctly and to be well spoken and things like that. But outside of that, my college degree has very, very little to do with what I actually do as a job now. So long story short, my 17-year-old he's just ready for high school to be over. And I remember being in high school and being the same. Like, this is unbelievable torture. The fact that I have to go to this place every day And, you know, I was there simply to socialize and to be cool and to try to meet more chicks. That's the only reason I was there. And, you know, some sports as well. I had no desire to be there. I had no desire to do the work. And it was one of those things where I just wanted to be done. I didn't care how glorious my grades and my transcripts looked once I was done. As long as I was done, and as long as I didn't have to be subjected to this cruel and unusual punishment anymore of having to sit and do freaking algebraic equations when I could give not one shit about what equals X and all the rest of it, right? And so that's where my son's at. He just wants to be done with it. He has some stuff that he wants to do. He actually edits anime, and he's really good at that. Not just anime, but he edits a lot of other things. And he has a TikTok. Go give him a look. His TikTok is .yagin, YAGIN, .YAGIN. Go give him a look, give him a follow. He's got like over 4,000 followers on TikTok, so right around 150,000 likes, which, hell, that's a lot more than I ever did on TikTok. So he's really good at editing videos, and you know, we've talked to him, well, hey, you know, why don't you go take a, you know, maybe like a graphic design, you know, go study like video editing or graphic design or something like that in college. He's just like, okay, yeah, no. He just doesn't want to do it. He cannot see himself getting out of high school and then turning around and putting himself willingly back into a situation where he has to do more schoolwork. He just doesn't want to do it. And it's one of those things, you know, he might get out into the workforce for a couple of years and decide that he wants to go back and get some sort of college degree. But, you know, he's 17. You can't make a child make their own decisions, you know, and I definitely don't want to force him to do something that he doesn't want to do. But yeah, my dad, as an 80-year-old man, has beat the college drum over and over and over with my son to a point where we've had to say, Dad, back off. He has his own brain up there. He doesn't want to do college. And what's more, this is 2023. This ain't no 1950s, 1960s. There are tons of other ways that people are making money now that have nothing to do with a college degree. And I know plenty of people who just immerse themselves into a workforce, work their way up, and have not one single credit of college credit, and they're making, you know, $70,000, $80,000 a year living in North Carolina, which is pretty exceptional. My wife is an example. She has some college, but she doesn't have a degree. And, you know, my wife makes great money. My nephew, I have a 30-year-old nephew, not one college credit. He graduated high school and made decent grades, but he never did go to college. And he has an office job right now where he's making almost $70,000 a year, which, in living in North Carolina, that's good money. How did he do it? Drive, consistency, and hard work. Good work ethic. That's the only way he did it. And so we've been trying to kind of, you know, call my dad off, like, hey, you know, down boy. He doesn't want to go to college. But yeah, anyway, a little bit of rambling there before I get started. If you've not, as of yet, subscribed to Just a Guy on My Lunch Break, the first guy to ever go viral on YouTube from sitting in his freaking car doing this. Watch. It's gonna happen. At Austin Nettlebeak 4876 says, hey Corey, just wanted to say thank you for the inspiration and making such helpful suggestions. I know I need to go through the storm and experience the withdrawal pain alone, but it sure does help to have some taper guidelines and lifestyle tips. For me, exercise is already medicine, so we'll definitely continue leveraging that healthy habit to smooth out the kratom edges. So far down from 30 grams to 16 grams over the last 4-day taper. Thanks again for posting your wisdom, and Happy New Year. Austin, thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate your encouraging words there. And, you know, these are the kind of folks that I want this channel to be full of. You know, people who have a positive mindset, people who are really wanting to make positive changes in their lives, whether that includes Kratom or whether it includes coming off of Kratom. Either way, or whether it includes just a healthy balance where you're somewhere right in the middle, a healthy balance with Kratom. Either way, that's for all of you to figure out, right? I'm just here to kind of help facilitate that and maybe help some of you guys figure out, okay, if this is happening, you might be over the edge, might be a little bit of a problem for you. It might be spelling a problem for you, Kratom that is, and you may want to back off, or you may want to stop taking it altogether if you're starting to experience more negative consequences than you are positive benefits of the Kratom, right? So whatever, and all of that, each of those things I just mentioned may look different from person to person to person to person. We are all not the same. We don't all think the same way, and we don't all cope and deal with life in the same way. We don't all deal with a Kratom habit in the same way. Everyone needs to understand that, because a lot of times I get people on here, these headstrong individuals, of this is what you need to do. You need to do this, because if you can't do this, then you're not gonna. Hold on, bro. Hold on. You realize this person that you're talking to has been brought up and nurtured in an absolutely, completely different environment than you have. They have every reason to not deal with things in the same way that you deal with things. Different parenting. They went to different schools, different family dynamics, different socioeconomic dynamics. Some of us are poor, some of us come from rich families, some of us are just right there in the middle. You know, you get a whole different plethora, and that's one thing. Now, this is my college degree talking. You know, the education, the whole social work background, that's one thing that I have learned in just years of experience, plus in school, that you can't paint everyone with the same brushstroke, because we're all different, right? Kratom may mean one thing to you, while the next guy has a habit that's very similar to you, but it ain't no problem for him. He's good with it. He's in a place where he's comfortable, you know? It all depends on the person and our different levels of our different coping mechanisms that we have, all of this combined. So Austin, yeah, exercise, keep doing that, bro. Sounds like 30 grams to 16 in the last 4 days. That's great, man. That's actually pretty significant. Keep doing that. We're here for support. Comment every day, you know, let us know where you're at. Like if you're still at the same spot, if you're still at the 16 grams, let us know you're still holding strong, because what I want is this to be a resource for other people who might be making some changes in their relationship with Kratom, and they can pop on and they can see, oh, this guy Austin, you know, here's where he's at, and here's where he started, here's where he's coming down from, you know. And I want people to be able to get on here and see examples of people making these changes, and then, you know, they might pop on and say, wow, this guy's situation is very similar to mine. That's awesome. You know, let me make sure I look at all his comments and look and see what his progress is, and that kind of help me through and give me ideas and inspiration to do better, right? That's what I want this channel to be, is a true resource for people. And I'm not the only resource. We're all resources for each other, right? But Austin, anyway, man, thank you very much for the comment at William Ryan 181. Hey, man, glad you and your family are doing okay. I made it through the holidays. I'm sorry. Glad your family is doing okay and made it through the holidays. I don't know how many people you got so far for the taper journey, but you can add my name to the list. It's definitely time. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, William. Thank you very much, brother. Join in, man. Join in. Austin there is already on the taper. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my taper towards the end. I'm roughly between about 17 and 19 grams right now. That's about what I'm taking. I kept up with it yesterday, and that's about what I was at. I'd say about maybe 18 grams for the day. Slept okay, so I was pretty comfortable with that. And so I'm going to be on that for a few days, and then I'll start to taper from there. And I'll talk about it, a little more in detail as time goes by. But anyway, William, figure out that's what I recommend to people. If you want to do the taper, first off, figure out where you're at. If you're taking just the powder, obviously you need to weigh it, need to kind of get a scale. You don't measure you don't change what you don't measure. So first thing you have to do is measure and see how much you're taking. That way you can start at that baseline, that's your baseline, and then you can know how to edge it down, and how to progress downward. And so that's really important. But yeah, man, keep us updated. Leave a comment every day. Let us know kind of where you're at, and we'll hold each other accountable. That's what it's all about. At Shay.Shay83. So glad everyone is getting better. I'm ready to get this monkey off of my back. Over my break, I didn't do well with my taper. Me too, Shay. Me too. I start back to real life tomorrow, and I'm starting my taper. I'd love to know if there are any supplements that have worked well in our community for long-time daily users. I need all the support I can get. Shay, you've got support here, and you've extended support to this channel and this community a ton of times. So we definitely will return that support. I do want to say, as far as the supplements, to me, the supplements that could be involved, and I'll give you a few, but the supplements that are involved for me are more important if you're doing like a cold turkey sort of withdrawal, where the withdrawals are going to tend to be more acute, more severe, more painstaking. Those are the situations where I feel like you really need to worry a lot more about supplements. Okay, there are certain ones. Well, let me back up. If you're tapering and you're doing a slow taper, the idea behind that is to essentially fool your body and fool your mind by only taking just a little tiny amount less. Let's say you're taking 20 grams. Okay, you're going to stay on that for 3 or 4 days. Well, on the 4th day, drop that down to 19, or you could even do 19.5, which is only just a little bit less than what you were taking. The withdrawals that you will experience with that should be minimalistic and minute to the point where you really don't even notice them. Okay, the kind of withdrawals that you would experience by dropping maybe a half gram every 3 or 4 days should be minimal enough to where you could pop yourself a melatonin at night and probably just go ahead and sleep on through like you have been. The challenge that presents itself when it comes to the slow taper is that some people find that they're just going to have to go quicker because they don't have the mentality, they don't have the discipline to not sometimes take more, And it's one thing to take more one day. Let's say you've been doing a taper for 4 straight days. You're doing good, you're doing good, you're doing good. Then on that 5th day, you're like, well, damn, I took 25 grams today. I'm supposed to be down to 19. That's one thing. And if you did that for 1 day, then on the 6th day, you got back down to the 19, you'd probably be fine. But the problem is people do that, and then they backslide once. Well, then that one backslide turns into 2. Well, I've already fucked up now. I might as well I'm just going to do that again today. Then 2, and then 3. Next thing you know, you've backslid 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You ain't freaking tapering anymore, right? You're not even on a taper anymore. You're back up to where you were. So that's where the challenge comes in with a slow taper. I've heard the analogy before. It's easier to hang off of a cliff for 3 weeks than for 3 months. I thought that was an excellent analogy when it comes to the tapering. The longer it takes, the more chances you have to become weak and say, well, just today. Because, as addicts, we like to do that. Well, just today. I'm just going to go a little bit harder in the paint today. I'm going to take a little bit more today. The problem is then that one day turns into two to three to four, and so on. And the next thing you know, you're not even tapering anymore. So that's where the whole slow taper gets tricky. But if you're able to remain disciplined, stay on the channel, check in every day, let us know what you're still doing, what dose you were able to maintain, and then stay with it, and don't allow yourself times to backslide and take more. You can essentially get completely off of it and have very, very, very little withdrawals, if any. Okay, but vitamin C is one that people swear by. I would, when you do start to taper, whether it's a little more aggressive or whether it's a little slower, I would take some extra vitamin C every day. Also, magnesium is, there's this magnesium supplement called Calm, C-A-L-M. I actually have some at home, and it actually can help also with calming you down a little bit at night. Just a multivitamin, because when you take a lot of kratom, that depletes certain vitamins in your body and electrolytes and stuff like that. So it's good to like eat a banana for the potassium, take a multivitamin, drink some Powerade to get those electrolytes, back in your body. All of these things and exercise is a really, really big one. And it's counterintuitive, because when you're going through withdrawals, it's the last thing you feel like doing. Let's be honest. You don't feel like exercising. You don't feel like doing shit. But if you do, and if you force your way through it, force your way through the uncomfortable nature of it, it actually will help calm you. And you'll find that in spite of the withdrawals, it will help kind of calm you down and serve to keep you sleeping a little better at night. Cold showers is a really big one. Turn the water on freezing cold for about 30 seconds. Shiver it out. Let it run all over your head and the core of your body. Shiver as much as you can. Then step out of the water. Regain yourself for a few seconds. Turn it back on freezing cold. Get up under it. Freeze, shiver. Do this 3 or 4 times, like in sets. And you'd be surprised. When you get out of that shower, you almost feel like you've taken a Xanax. For those of you who have ever taken a Xanax, it really you literally shiver the angst and shiver the anxiety and the excess energy. You just shiver that shit right out of your body. There's really no other way to describe it. Same thing with like ice baths. I don't know how many of you might have access to something like that, but it's the same concept. It's good for your muscles, good for relaxing muscles. And that's the problem when your body is coming off of something like kratom and you've been firing at those opiate receptors over and over for a long period of time. When you go to come off of it, you have a lot of involuntary, chemical interactions going on in your body that you normally don't have. You have a lot of chemicals firing in ways and in places that they shouldn't be. Right? Which is why you get the restless legs. This was why you get the diarrhea. It's why you get the runny nose and the sneezing and the cold chills, and everything's just all out of whack, and all of that boils down to chemicals and how they're running through your body, right? And you've jacked all that up by using kratom regularly on a regular basis. So when you stop, obviously that's a problem. And doing stuff like the rigorous exercise, especially cardiovascular sort of exercise, stuff that's going to get you breathing really hard, to get your heart rate up, get you sweating, stuff like that is going to help you to calm yourself down a little bit. The ice baths or cold showers, it's going to help you to calm down some, and it's going to at least help decrease those withdrawals. So really a lot of that is going to depend on Shay. It's going to depend on what kind of taper you're doing, whether this is a slow taper or whether you're just going freaking neck deep and into a withdrawal, which it doesn't sound like you're going to do like a cold turkey situation. So, you know, do the things I mentioned. Kava is one that I sometimes recommend to people. That can be a slippery slope because some people claim that kava has some addictive properties, although I never found that, you know, it made me feel good enough to where I was just like, oh, I just want more. Oh, just shoot the kava in my veins. Tie me off. You know, it never really did me like that. But it is something that can actually help, especially at night with the sleep. It can kind of help decrease the acute withdrawals. Okay. At Mike Clay said, you did the right thing by taking your little guy to the ER. Once I was bit by a stray dog as a child. My mom took me to the ER but got tired of waiting, so we left without treatment. Turned out I didn't have rabies, no thanks to her. Damn. Oh man, that was a good comment. I got a good chuckle out of that. Yeah, shit, dude. Thank God you didn't have rabies. Yeah, no, my wife and I both, it was one of those things where we love that little guy so much, we just couldn't imagine if something bad were to happen, we wouldn't be able to live with ourselves. We're like, dude, I would rather spend a few hours in the ER on Christmas Eve than us not take him, and then we sit at home all night and worry about him, and then something happens to him, you know. So ultimately, it was kind of a no-brainer for us. It's what good parents do, to be honest with you. But thanks for the comment, bro. I'm going to do one more at Lene Cuddy. Dang, Corey. Got the same flu on that Thursday before Christmas. Hit me like a steamroller. I never got the flu before. By the third day, I was feeling better, but had to stay home from my in-laws gathering on Christmas Day. Long story short, my fabulous husband took the gifts to the party and had dinner with the family, but didn't stay for dessert because he was worried about me. Still taking the Kratom after I felt better. Damn it. But working on decreasing my dose. Oh, my husband didn't get sick either. We are so blessed. Sounds like you are. Sounds like you got you a good hubby there. Good man. And that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I have a wonderful wife, and I sing her praises on here all the time, but if you guys knew my wife, you would know why. She is just, the best way I can describe her is a superwoman. She works, she takes care of the baby, she cooks, she's the one that pays all of our bills, and by paying all our bills, I mean she's the one that actually calls and, you know, handles the account numbers, and, you know, she's the one that does all that. She submits the payments. Of course, my salary helps pay the bills. But then on top of that, she finds time to, you know, buy me this nice ass coat for Christmas, you know. So she's just amazing in every way. She even takes care of my, you know, her stepson, my son Hayden, my 17-year-old, is not my wife's biological child. You know, he belongs to myself and my first wife. But even with him, you know, and she'll check his grades, and if he's missing an assignment, she'll email his teacher. You know, she is a sales. She's in sales, so she's a person that has the opportunity to do more stuff like that throughout the day. She doesn't have to be in an office setting sort of thing like I do, so she has more of an opportunity to do that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, Lene, I know where you're at. It sounds like you have an awesome husband. I definitely can feel that blessing. Yeah, so I'm about 18, right around about 18 grams. I made it a little harder because I went this past weekend to re-up on my capsules, and I go in, and this guy hands me a box from Keteret, the guy that works there. I was like, what's this? He was like, Merry Christmas, man. He's like, you're one of the few guys that I have that has bought this brand from this company, and they sent us a bunch of these gift packages for Christmas. So you're one of the first guys I thought of. So there you go. He was like, it's got a t-shirt and some other stuff in it. And I was like, shit. You know, I wasn't going to say no. Walk out to the car, open it up. I'm like, 150 caps of white Kratom. 100 caps of Trainwreck, a container about this big of super green powder, 2 like little extract thing. I was like, this is not helping my taper. That's the first thing I thought of. It was one of those where I was like thankful at the same time, because I was like, oh, this is going to take me all the way through a taper. I won't even have to buy anymore if my taper goes as planned. But it was one of those where it's like, as soon as God starts working, I'm telling you now, as soon as the God starts working in your life, the devil steps up and like, whoa, 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 wait a minute now. Whoa, whoa. Give this guy a bunch of free Kratom. I'm telling you. It's very interesting the way the forces of good and evil play off of each other. But anyway, I gotta go. Love you guys very much. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. Almost at 650 subscribers now. I think of you guys as just my friends. This channel helps a lot of people. You know, share it. Move the content around to anybody that might need it, you know, and we don't judge people on here. I never come and tell somebody, well, you need to do this, well, you need to do that. No. That's for you to figure out. You have to self-diagnose yourself. No one else on here is going to diagnose you for you as far as what you need to do with Kratom or anything else. Also, somebody told me about this. Somebody told me that they were addicted to Zaza. I had somebody, when I went to get my capsules the other day, a new person that was working there is like, is this what you want? And they just handed me this thing. I looked at it, I was like, Zaza. And then I remembered, I was like, oh, no. I was like, I don't need no fucking Zaza. I'm telling you that right now, because I heard somebody say it was really highly addictive and they wish they had never found it. And that's one of the things I love about this channel, because I learn from you guys too. I hear about stuff like this and I'm like, damn. Oh yeah, if it's more addictive than Kratom and people are saying that it's worse than Kratom and it's more highly addictive and stuff like that and they wish they'd never found it. These are people who have addiction issues telling me they wish they'd never found it. He put that shit in my hand, and of course I had a moment where I was like, I wonder what this feels like. Then I was like, no, dude. Fucking no. You know, and I didn't. I was like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. I just need capsules, you know, Kratom capsules. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. But so I'm going to be right about the 18 grams I've been taking. I'm going to be on that for probably 3, maybe 4 days. At that point, I'll go ahead and cut it down. I'll keep you guys updated on how I'm doing that, how I'm going about it. I gotta go. Love you very much. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below. Let me know where you're at. Your comment can also help someone else who's searching for answers, right? All right. You guys have a great day. Peace.